I truly believe that our gardens shape us. Spaces that we create and the beauty and effort and love that we put into them give back to us 100-fold. Welcome back to Garden Studio. I'm Tessa Pinner, a designer and gardener in upstate South Carolina, Zone 8A. In today's video, I am going to take you behind the scenes on the design process for a little cottage garden. Well, really, not so little. I would love to have this garden for a friend of mine, Natalie Holland, who has recently moved near to me and bought some beautiful property. Now she is starting from zero, which is a really fun place to be because anything is possible. It's also pretty daunting if there's nothing there and you are creating and inventing it. I will take you behind the scenes on a site meeting where we talk about Natalie's inspiration, her desires, what she hopes the space will do for her. And then I'll talk you through considerations with layout and what we're thinking through as far as choosing materials. And then at the end, you'll get a peek at how the construction is going.
So this is the space that we have mapped out here. I think it was 40 by 25-ish.
Okay.
And we are going for English cottage garden.
I love
vibe.
Yay.
And yeah, definitely like seasonal kitchen garden, right? Would that be a kitchen garden? Okay.
Definitely. I think a kitchen garden can also include ornamentals.
Okay.
So
yeah, and then also flowers and roses. So we're starting with this nothing, but we would love, to maximize the space for growing, but also a nice place for us to come hang out. So like a little center area for a table. Okay, so I envision, pathway here, stone path, little paths in between, obviously a little fence, and then potentially some sort of gate with an arch or something with the climbing roses.
Okay, so the vision for the space being it's enclosed, it's its own little world when you come in here.
Totally. Oh, I love that. Yes.
Okay.
It's exactly what I'm hoping for.
While it is definitely possible to over-rely on Pinterest, I find it an invaluable part of the early design brainstorming. This is the vision and mood board that I put together for the Hollands cottage garden. You can see that there are some themes that show up over and over again. The wooden fence, the pea gravel, the low raised bed format, the enclosed feeling, the not too perfect, a little bit rustic, charming style.
Walking backwards.
That would be a great thing to have on video.
Okay.
So if this out here, this is going to be lawn.
Yes. So
Okay.
all be grass.
Lawn. Yep. This is our arched entrance.
Yes.
Okay.
With flower boxes up here with garden roses.
Beautiful. So you'll come in. Will there be a gate? No gate?
There'll be a little gate.
Little gate?
Yes,
okay.
Little gate.
And on either side, box, box, box. So we have a series of 3 at this point. You're thinking 4 by 10.
Yes.
On either side, it's pretty symmetrical.
Right.
And then there's an open space.
Yes. This is our little table and chairs. And then I liked your idea though of instead of 2 boxes right here, just doing one the other direction and opening this up even more.
It's like a room inside.
Yes. And
I
love symmetrical things, but I also like the interest that would add and making it a little bit different. So, okay.
Yeah. And I think the great thing about this kind of garden is it can be symmetrical, but the planting isn't identical.
Yeah.
So you have all of this interest in the planting, even if the structure of the garden has a lot of symmetry to it.
Yeah.
At the conclusion of the site meeting, we did have a pretty clear idea of Natalie's desires and vision for her garden. But I always also like to give multiple versions when going through the design process. It always starts with the layout, how the garden is arranged, what are the measurements, how wide are the paths, how many beds, what is the overall space, and then what is the hardscape? What materials are we using? So I went through a couple of different versions with this for Natalie just to show her it could look like this. Similar, but here's another version. Similar, but here's another version. And when presented with all of those options and really looking at the small differences there, that is what can help you make a decision.
One thing that can be really challenging when you are getting started with a new garden space is, honestly, if your taste exceeds your budget. So this is something that happens to me pretty much all the time. In every area of life, I have much more expensive taste than I can afford. Rather than letting that hamper you from getting started, I would say focus on the layout of your spaces. Prioritize how big are the beds, where are the pathways, and if you need to compromise, it would be better to make some concessions on your materials than not to build your garden at all. When we built our raised beds, we did them out of untreated wood. I didn't want treated wood chemicals getting into my food. I could not afford cedar. Here we are 4 years later, and the garden beds probably need to be updated. But guess what? I have had years and many growing seasons of really enjoying those raised beds. Are we gonna come
Maybe
up?
at most, yeah, probably.
Okay,
Yeah.
8 inches.
Yeah.
So it might be worth having, because some of the stuff you're gonna wanna plant may want to go down further than
Okay.
that.
Okay,
And you're wanting to do it this season.
yeah.
So if you had a lot of time on your side doing cardboard and then things that were gonna break down over a year or
Okay.
so would be great. I think you might want to rent a tiller and
Okay.
go in, because this is already disturbed soil.
Yeah.
I'm not a go till everything
Right.
kind of person.
But it's already
been graded,
We've
it's already
scraped
scraped.
the topsoil off. Yeah.
Right. So what I
Okay.
wouldn't want is you to have this beautiful layer of fluffy fluff and then a
it's too
hard
compact.
pan
Okay.
line,
Okay.
because then your water won't go through, your roots won't go in.
Okay.
So we need to break that barrier and mix.
Okay.
So I think, again, if you were doing a new bed and you had 6 months or a year
Yeah.
for
To let
the
it-
decomposing
Right.
process, then you could do some of that almost lasagna layering.
Right. Okay.
And you still could, but I think if
But
it were
it's
my garden,
not gonna be as thick as, okay. So would I still do the till it up a little bit, still do the cardboard or no?
I don't think you need
Omit
to.
that, okay. And
If you
then-
were smothering grass or weeds or
Okay.
existing vegetation,
I got it.
cardboard's really
Okay.
helpful.
Okay.
You don't have any of that.
Yeah.
You don't have
So
any of
then
that
will
here.
I just come in with, because I have done the lasagna layering, like I
Mhm.
did the straw, the
Yep.
manure, the straw,
Mhm.
and then the compost. Will I just
Mhm.
come in with compost?
I think so, because you're going to need to plant right into it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
there are places that you can get like a dump truck
Yeah,
load.
that's what we'll get. We'll get like a trailer load.
Yep, we'll need a whole
Okay.
dump truck, and
Okay.
then you might add individual amendments to that,
Okay.
like earthworm castings.
Gotcha.
If you have, a friend with a farm that you
Okay.
trust the
Yeah.
manure source and
Yes.
it's been aged, that can be amazing.
Okay.
I love growing in a raised bed. And one thing Natalie and I talked about was just how far raised hers would be. Now mine here are a full 2 feet, and Natalie is just thinking 1 board's width, which I actually still think is very effective, because a lot of the things that you grow in a kitchen or cottage garden setting, especially if they're annuals, they don't have super deep roots. So even a fairly shallow, really luscious planting medium, you get those top 6 to 8 inches of soil really amazing. You can grow a really fabulous garden even your first year, even on red clay like she has.
And
It's gonna be a dramatic change.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be amazing. Okay.
Yay.
Thank you so much.
You are
I'm
welcome.
so excited.
Y'all can tell me in the comments if you like this format or not. Basically, I'm just walking around my garden and having a chat with you. So when Natalie and I met on site at her house, she was really excited about the possibility of stone. So one thing I did for the research phase for her was I went to a stone yard and I priced per linear foot what the edging stone would be that she was thinking about using. I got cubic foot pricing, ton pricing on some other bulk stone materials, just to say, hey, if this is the route you're going with stone, this is your ballpark cost. That is a really easy thing to do, and it tells you, okay, You know, am I where I want to be with the material costs, or should I think about building with wood instead? And where Natalie landed is that she is going to build her boxes out of wood for now, with the structure that she wants long term. It means she gets her garden now. She is going to enjoy it so much right away, and she can upgrade to stone later as she builds her house and decides just exactly which kind of stone she wants to invest in.
Now I want to show you just a little bit of the construction process, from that initial red clay, nothing on it, to building the boxes, trenching and putting in irrigation, then filling the beds with soil, putting up the fence, adding the pea gravel and the boxes at the front for the roses. All of these things are well underway. Natalie even has little plants coming up in the beds, and before long, this place is going to be lush and gorgeous. I think it's helpful to note that Natalie and her husband did all of this themselves. They are handy, they are capable, but they are not professionals in building gardens. They just had a dream and the willingness to do it themselves.
I personally cannot wait to see this garden come to life. As she pours love and energy into it, I know it will just get better every year.